Welcome to the Dream Life is Real Life podcast. I'm your host, Hanna Hermanson. I know it might seem cheesy or cliche, but if you've got a sleeping giant inside of you, or you just feel like you're made for more, then there's no coincidence you landed here on the Dream Life is Real Life podcast. Listen, as a girl from small town Wisconsin who decided to go all in to her dream life vision, I know how crazy it can feel to chase after wild ideas. Since leaving my 9-to-5 job in academics back in 2015 to becoming a yoga teacher, a life coach, and now a digital nomad, currently living in Merida, Mexico with my husband and Labradoodle, I know that all the cheesy cliches are true. I've watched a lot of my dream life become my real life right in front of my eyes. Oh, and I've learned a whole lot about sales, business, and marketing along the way, and I want to share all of that with you. So here, you can consider me your friend and mentor. As a certified business coach, success trainer, international speaker, author, and copywriter, I've helped hundreds of coaches and entrepreneurs build, scale, and enjoy their online businesses. So here on the show, you'll find the real people, concrete tactics, and weekly motivation and inspiration to make your dream life your real life. I'm going to let you into the nooks and crannies of these dream lives and dream businesses and offer lots of real talk along the way. Because to be a true leader in whatever you're endeavoring in your life and to create a legacy that you're proud of, you need a tribe lifting you up with you on the journey. And I've made it my mission to be that partner with you. Because after all, we are all in this together. By the way, if you'd like some help improving your business and life, then we just might be able to help. Head on over to dreamlifeisreallife.com to learn more about what we do and how I might be able to personally support you and just continue this conversation in making your dream life your real life. All right, let's get to it. Welcome back. We are here on the Dream Life is Real Life podcast, and we are hanging out with Omar Cumberbatch, who is a professional health coach and host of his podcast, Health Coach Academy, as well as the co-host of a podcast called This Podcast Burns Fat. Omar received his training from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, where IIN students at. I know a lot of listeners and some of my clients even are also IIN grads. So that's where he trained in more than 100 dietary theories and studied a variety of practical lifestyle coaching methods. For over a decade, he studied all of these different theories, and he navigated that world of contradictory advice, right? All the different dietary and exercise advice that's out there. And during this time, he experienced firsthand how challenging it is to figure out your own personalized health plan. So he was able to confront his own struggle by changing his approach to incorporating a holistic lifestyle approach for himself. And then he decided to become a health counselor to fulfill his passion for working with individuals who also struggle with that confusion, but are motivated to change and become their best, healthiest, most fulfilled selves. And we are all about that. So thanks for being here.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I've shared on the podcast before. I've also had like a decade-long relationship with food, body, exercise, and kind of like all the confusion or obsession that can come with that. So I'd love to know for you, what was that light bulb moment or that turning point that you're like, health is a priority. I want to make it, an integral part of my life. And then obviously, you took a decade to sift and sort, but take us back to that decision. Were you always the healthy guy, or what was that, shift for you?
Yeah, what's interesting? You use the word relationships, and any relationship, you have your ups and downs, right? So I've always had the intention of being healthy. And I think that the one thing that I guess is a blessing and a curse is I'm very open to ideas to the point of, I guess, almost gullibility, like where you're like, okay, you know what? I'll try anything if it sounds kind of good.
The watermelon diet? Okay.
Let's do it. Yeah. I see a testimonial. I'll jump on that. I had that experience, and I tried every single thing that you can imagine. I've always been into athletics, and I would literally have the feeling like if I wasn't losing the amount of weight or I didn't look a certain way, I just had to do more work to accomplish that. And I think I neglected the traditional like nutritional aspects of things. I would read my muscle magazines and I would have my, Bioplex shakes and whatever shake was popular at the time. And just going back, and I was just like not getting the results for someone who was spending 2 to 3 hours in a gym at some times. Like I would have that concept in my head that if at the end of the day I worked out for an hour a day, I need to work out for an hour and a half. Or if I ran 5 miles, I need to run 6. And I stumbled upon who eventually became my mentor and someone who I really look up to. And it was just fascinating. He was on YouTube talking about like the effects of sugar. And again, being gullible, I'm like, all right, you know what? I'll try it. Like, I knew for a fact that even at the time when I stumbled upon this, I was a vegetarian, a very bad one at that. Cause after I went to IN, I knew what I was doing wrong in that capacity as well.
I'm totally resonating, Omar. I was okay, I want a 5K, but now I have to run a half marathon. Now I have to run a full marathon, right? And I was also a junk food vegan too, right? Because it's I think you and I and a lot of entrepreneurs, we have this strain or this strength within us where we always are evolving. We want to improve. We want to achieve. And sometimes for me, it's been a little misplaced on overdoing it or kind of I've gone too far in the eating disorder lane for sure. But what I learned in that, it was such a reflection and really a huge door opening for me was that I have this go-getter, make it happen, powerful will within me. And when I started to put it into different places, for you, okay, I'm going to test out all of these things, but I also want to channel this into something bigger than myself. I think that's a really common trait among entrepreneurs. And when you can start to see that, make stuff happen energy, if it might be misplaced for you, if you're feeling obsessed or exhausted in some way. But really, how you just kept on the education bandwagon and obviously are passionate about it. Yes. So this sugar thing I know it's something that you're still teaching. So this must have stuck enough. What was that experience for you?
Well, it was amazing. Again, just watching him explain the concept of why sugar was bad and being a vegetarian at the time. I mean, I remember my breakfast so well, even to this day, and this is going back 12 years ago. I used to have a banana. I used to have coffee, cream, and 3 big sugars. So right there, you're talking about 60 grams of sugar for breakfast. And I thought, hey, I'm a vegan. I'm sorry, I'm a vegetarian at that time.
All the health foods that make us feel like we're doing, Yep.
I thought I was doing great. And again, not getting any results and just watching this video. And I was like, wow, this makes a lot of sense. Let me cut back and see what happens. And the weight literally fell off so rapidly that, and again, I wasn't in terrible shape, but it was basically because I was just working out so much, but I just didn't have anything that I could say I can show for that amount of working out, to the point where people would ask me are you okay? Pull me over to the side. It's you're losing weight so rapidly. And I'm like, no, I just cut out sugar. And then I just figured, wow, if I could just do this one thing and all these other things happen, let me dive into nutrition a little bit more. And then I signed up for IN, I got my certification, and I just been doing that ever since. So I obviously had a big impact in just learning that one thing. And I was just fascinated. Okay, what other things can I learn? And I just deep dove into it and just looked for helping people. Because again, in my experience, it's really just like in business, you don't know what you don't know. And once you actually get into a mindset where I'm open to finding out, learning more, like you said, taking that energy and putting into the proper places, then that's where magic happens, as opposed to just running into the wall all the time and just say, I'll eventually break through that wall. It doesn't work like that. And and I'm very loyal in that sense too, where I don't quit. I'll just keep running into the wall.
Can't stop, won't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. But this is what I love about being an entrepreneur, like a service-based entrepreneur, is that as we evolve and we're on our own personal development, business development journeys, we just get better at helping the people who are a few steps behind us, right? And so sometimes giggle with my health coaching clients. I'm like, you get to go like learn this new skill, or you get to have this experience. Like you're literally just like getting paid to improve your own life, because as you do that, you get to help people in new capacities in different ways and like expand their journey as your journey expands. So have you seen that in your own kind of entrepreneurial journey, that the more you learn in health, the more that you're able to help others?
Absolutely. And one of the best things about being an entrepreneur is that learning experience, because you mentioned it as well. Like just that one step ahead is so valuable to an individual. And I guess like once you continuously learn, it makes it a lot easier to share those experiences with a person. That just it's a great source of gratification for yourself, but so much value to your clients. So it's kind of like you're getting a double edge of expression, which is really, really cool. So yeah, I definitely think that as you grow in an entrepreneurial space, you can give back in that way. I do talk about, even on my podcast, a lot that I think I've suffered from, say, imposter syndrome, or I'm not enough to share this information, or to share the information that I think I should know. But like you had mentioned, just being that one step ahead of a person is so valuable. You know, it's
they don't know what you know, right? Like you don't know what you don't know, but they don't know what you know. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, and I sometimes forget. And that's why it's like, it's cool when you're continuously learning, because you don't remember. I didn't even know what a carbohydrate was at one point. Right. And for the person who doesn't know what that is, or where to look for hidden sugars or anything like that, it's so valuable to them that they'll pay anything to just learn that, so that they don't have to suffer for years kind of doing that kind of research to try to figure out where they are. So it's very valuable to me, and it's a great part of the entrepreneurial process as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I was out last night with some friends, and we were even just talking about how to read packages and how that should be like taught in schools, because 2.5 servings of an M&M pack, like who knows how many M&Ms that actually is, you know, like there's so many things that we, could have learned or could have missed. So I want to dive a little bit deeper into those things that you are able to turn around and teach your clients now. I mean, I think the question burning in every listener's mind is like, I can't eat sugar if I want to burn fat. Like, what is the secret? What's kind of the method that you have honed in, and now you're able to teach clients who want to burn fat or just optimize their health? What have you come to find works for people that you work with?
Yeah. The easy answer is obviously the reduction of sugar.
Easy answer, Omar. Break it down. What are you talking about? You talked about a banana. I mean, like, what does that actually look like?
So like, that's the thing. I think one of the things that I struggled with in the beginning was even realizing where sugar is. Like the biggest thing about the sugar craziness that goes on nowadays is that they call it a million different things. Like that's the problem. So like, you think that like you're talking about reading a label, you expect to just see sugar, but I think there's like 70 different names for sugar. I think like my favorite one was like Galaxidose or something like that. It sounded like it was like a superhero kind of sugar.
Flavored with other, or like seasoned with other natural flavors and ingredients. It's like, what the heck are other natural flavors? Like,
exactly. And that's what they're pushing. So I think that for me, when I go back and try to help people do that one easy thing, it's really just like to identify where it is. Like one of my big things that I think people really get fascinating about is the fact that something even like regular milk has a ton of sugar in it. Yogurt, ton of sugar in it. Even something like yogurt, where they say it's supposed to be good for you, can have up to like 20 something grams of sugar just in a little thing of a yogurt.
Yeah.
And people are like, how's that possible? It's like, then when you start getting into the deep dive of where these things are hidden, then you really get into the fact that, wow, I am superly overly consuming sugar when you don't realize it. And I always take it to that person who has difficult with finances and kind of a business kind of thing. Until you write down exactly what you're spending your money on, you don't realize, oh man, I spend $200 a week on Starbucks. I spend X amount of dollars on cable. Like, you don't realize. Right. And then when you sit back and start looking at, wow, I do eat 250 grams of sugar a day, then you'll be like, okay, that's where my problem is.
Where it is. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's until you
shedding that flashlight on what's really happening. I think that's a really good takeaway for the health of anything in your life or your business. I talk about this with data in your marketing. It's like, don't bring me the drama of like, nobody liked it, or the comments, like, okay, let's take a look at the data. Like, what if your marketing created a conversation or a client? What if your marketing confused your audience, right? And you can actually look at analytics and metrics, and this is what my team does, but it's the same exact thing of like, if you're not sleeping, okay, well then like, is that true? What time did you go to bed? What time did you wake up? Because I think that flashlight and focusing on data, getting things out of your own head, is the fastest way to identifying like what is the right next step for you.
Right.
In your business or in your health. Yeah.
Right, which creates the natural awareness, and once you start doing that exercise, it kind of becomes cruise control when it's it's on the forefront of your mind consistently. And a lot of times when we don't write it down or don't observe it and track it, you just don't realize that, oh man,
why is this happening to me? So dramatic. Right. Yeah. All right. So you help them find where sugar is, and I know it's sneaky. I mean, like, we live in Mexico, and the government has this policy where they have to put stickers if it's like excess calories or excess salt or excess sugar, and like everything has excess sugar, even like tomato sauce and things that like I would not put sugar in if I was making at my house, right? And I'm sure tomatoes, like pasta sauce tomato, has their own natural sugar. So what next? Because I think anxiety is being cued for people who are realizing there's sugar in everything, and that's scary. Look at what I'm actually eating. Like, what's the like net catching your clients after they start to identify what they're actually eating and how much sugar we're like probably addicted to? Like, what's next?
Well, that you said it, addicted, right? So once you show a person exactly how much sugar that they have, and as horrifying as that number might be, they're addicted. They don't want to get rid of it. so it's not like, okay, thank you for that information. Have a nice day, right? And I think it's daunting because, again, the addictive nature of sugar, especially when you try to tell a person that you need to reduce something like that. And where I was coming from, I was so addicted to it, I could never imagine not having a significant amount of sugar in my diet. And the only thing that I can tell people, and I really encourage this off the bat, do not think of it like you're never going to have it again and all this like that. Don't do that. But one of the things that's a true blessing in this journey of reducing sugar, and this is throughout, is your taste buds significantly change. Like, I was a person who I graduated from Coke to Pepsi because Coke wasn't. So for the most part, like, when I look back now where I can't even have a sip of it, that's unbelievable to me. I could never imagine that being the case. But that's like the little light at the end of the tunnel for people. And that's what you would do. And then just like, I guess the beyond that, I always tell a person, again, like when we write out what they eat, what do you love out of these particular foods? And it's interesting that a lot of habits are just created, like me and my banana breakfast obsession. Did I love the banana for breakfast? No. Like, can I not have a banana? Can I have something else? Can I substitute it out for something else that has less sugar? Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's like, I don't need that. But we become very robotic in our food choices a lot of the times, that I found that once you start giving people options of alternatives and then just say, hey, if we switch this out for that, you're going to reduce your sugar intake by X amount. They're like, all right, I'll try it, and when they see the results fast, they're in,
All right. What are the results here? Like what happened? I'm curious, like in the body, like what's happening if we don't cut out sugar, kind of what game do we choose to play, right? Because all of this is a choice. So if we keep eating sugar, what's happening to our body? And if we decide to make a change in our relationship with sugar, what happens to our bodies then?
Yeah, sure. The most popular reason why a person would want to do this and have like this is the easy hook is the weight loss part of it. A lot of people who struggle with weight can easily identify themselves as overly sugar consumption. No doubt about it. But sugar also has an incredibly inflammatory response to the body. And, as health coaches and just people in the know, and I'm sure in your community know, inflammation is being deemed as one of the major causes of pretty much every ailment that we've had, from cancer to obesity to the diabetes, everything. So the more that you reduce the inflammation in your body, the healthier you become. That's just like a fact. Of course, sugar is a problem with your oral health and all that kind of stuff. But I think if you even get into the deeper issues of your body and what it does inside your body, a lot of people just understand the health benefits right off the bat. And that's enough to convince them to at least give it a shot to reduce it significantly. So that's one of the things that I think is prevalent as far as sugar is concerned.
Yeah. And what about energy? I know a lot of entrepreneurs who rely on food, or for me, coffee. Coffee is my like creativity sauce. I usually have it black. That's just how I like it now. But as entrepreneurs, we sometimes need those little rushes or those little kicks to get creativity flowing, or to, keep us moving when it's been a hard week or something like that. So how does sugar impact our energy and how we could like show up for our work? What does that look like for your clients?
So, that's the interesting part of the sugar equation. The sugar part of it actually isn't doing you much except having a very, very limited burst of energy. Quick hit, and then you crash. Everybody knows about the sugar crash. You want to go to sleep right after. Like you drink black coffee, you have a definitely a more steady level of energy that's sustainable. But sugar, without a doubt, like anyone who has these Red Bulls or any of these drinks that are like fueled with caffeine with that high sugar content, the crash is very, very difficult. Yeah. And the only way that you can sustain it is to kind of just keep on throwing these things back. That's the addiction, right? That's because caffeine is very addictive too. Like I'm a caffeine kind of guy. I really enjoy the little buzz that I get off that. You throw sugar on top of that, you have a cocktail that's pretty powerful to get addicted to. And unfortunately, the consequences for my body and most people's body is that you're going to get that inflammation and definitely some weight gain along with that. So energy-wise,
jitters, oh my gosh, right? Like the days that I do put a little like French vanilla or something in my coffee, I'm like jittery. I feel like I either have to go on a run or go to the bathroom. And it's just like that, like artificial, like now I'm the same way with soda too. It like makes my teeth hurt to drink soda because
I know.
And just over time, like I think trained my palate. It wasn't intentional for me. I think just like the feeling, right? And that's something that I don't know what I do now. I don't have any routine, but I like to think that I'm doing more intuitive eating where I know if I have this, French vanilla in my coffee, I'm going to be off. Right. And like, sometimes that's what I choose to do, like, okay, I'm making that decision. So you said with your clients, it's never like, you're never going to have it again. Talk to us about how we settle into that more holistic lifestyle where we make empowered decisions. We love the skin we're in. How do we get to that holistic lifestyle that you speak of?
Yeah, I think it's just naturally, it's a journey, right? And it's something that what happens is I think humans naturally start seeing results in one area and become fascinated how they can improve all around. And again, like it's almost like when you have that conversation about, even if you're not even talking about food and you're going to the gym for the first time and you're working so hard, you're like, okay, am I gonna not, or am I gonna eat crap after I went to the gym? You have like this urge to, okay, no, I'm not gonna do that. And then that becomes a little bit more holistic. Then you start spilling that into maybe your spirituality practice. It's like, well, it's just weird. I don't say it's weird. I think it's just the way humans tend to be, is to like not want one part of their life completely thrown to the wolves. And you just start beginning to go down a little bit of a rabbit hole to make yourself aware of the other things that you can improve upon, especially when you're dealing in the health world, where you're feeling better and you're just more excited and have more energy of
feeling better, being excited. Yes to that. Yes to that. I've talked about, like, I've struggled with eating disorders and stuff like that. And I was always so much in my head about like the rules and I have to do it this way, or, just like I was in my head about food and exercise, not in my body. I only thought about how it made me feel in my head, if I was like good or bad, right? I had a good day today because I like hit my macros or whatever, right? And these past several years, I've been more on this journey of like getting into my body. And like I said, I know sugary coffee is not going to make me feel good. It makes my stomach hurt. And I think giving people those empowered decisions of like, feel how good you feel after the gym. Like, is the Big Mac really going to support your energy? Right. And like feeling good and being excited. I was just talking, I've been starting to share this more and more. I've been kind of embarrassed of it, but I take a nap like every day. And it's not because then I can get up and like hustle more so I can stay up late or get up. And it's just because I feel great when I have that little midday break and I want to support my energy. And that might not be like, the entrepreneur hustle guide, how to be energized, but I gave myself that permission. Also, Mexico siestas gave me that permission.
Well, I mean, but how much better of that? Like, I forget it. I mean, I love naps. Those are like my favorite things. I don't need a humongous. I could do a 15-minute nap and I'll feel like $1 million. Yes. Like, I love it. But what would be the alternative? Would you have a Red Bull to give you that energy that rejuvenates you like that? The nap is absolutely the better way to go, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think you're in Mexico now, but it's almost like in America it's frowned upon. Like,
exactly, that's what I mean. It was like I was playing this rule game, right? It's like, well, you're supposed to go on a jog at your lunch break, not take a nap. And it's like, who am I listening to, right? And I think it's what you were saying with all of this noise on the internet and the gurus and eat this, not that, and here's your 30-day plan. And it's like, cut the noise and get into your body, do some experiments. Like Omar is saying, like, write it down. Like, what are you actually eating? Is there sugar? Did you have a, spike and then a dive in energy later? And it's really starting to be curious, because I think what you're saying is there isn't like a one size fits all thing. It's about,
and again, even in the entrepreneurial journey as well, it's like, been on my podcast, we've talked about like what works for you, and you someone can tell you, Facebook lives are the way to go and you just don't want to be on camera, or it's like podcasting is the way to go and you don't like speaking, you're a better writer. It's like, you got to give yourself the permission to explore, and whatever happens, and take a little bit of time with it. I know that a lot of people naturally just want to be told, what do I need to do? How do I get there from here to there? But it might not feel good.
They think they want, but then, they're going to do more. They're like, I don't want to do that part. I don't want to do this. I don't like that. It's like, we look to other people to tell us what to do or give us permission, when it's like, yes, you can give us the guidance and the tools and feedback, but like, I think that's why I love health coaches so much, is because you all empower people. You don't tell them what to do.
You can. Yeah, you really can. I remember one client who, she was interested in losing weight, and, the sugar part she understood. And then she was like, what about other things I can eat? And I was like, well, at the time, and especially specifically with what she was doing, I was good. I was going to guide her toward more of a paleo-ish, keto-ish diet. That's kind of what she was interested in. And she was like, okay, how can you show me how to do that? I guess she must have read up on it. I was like, oh, no problem. We'll work with it. Give her the menu. She's like, well, but I don't eat this meat. I don't eat that. I don't like fish. I don't like the. I'm like, okay, so you don't want what you thought you want. We have to kind of like reroute this. But it was such a fascination with, okay, yeah, you know what? I heard paleo works. I had no issue showing it because I thought it had its role in certain people's lives. But it just turned out it wasn't for her. And that sometimes is something that everyone has to accept that, okay, we do not have the same everything, and what works for you, it might not work for me. And we have to just be able to deal with that journey a bit and feel better. I mean, what if I told you the exact diet that you got fabulous results and you hated every aspect of following that protocol?
I might do it for 3 days and then I would quit.
Right. Exactly. You will not sustain it. There's no way that you would sustain it. And it would be just another diet that you tried and failed.
Right.
And who wants that?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's a really great takeaway, right? It's like finding those things that you can sustain. I think that's the answer to this holistic lifestyle piece. And it sounds cliche, but you all know that the cliches are true. Like there's a reason why we repeat them all the time, and why these phrases about consistency and finding what works for you and giving yourself permission to make choices that empower you, energize you, and maybe taking a look at sugar and other aspects of your health is one of those things that you want to take on, especially as we're kind of in this new year vibe. And I think, Omar has obviously been there. He knows what it's like to be, addicted to soda, as well as, living a more energized and stable blood sugar, stable life. I can't say that about entrepreneurship. We're never totally stable, but at least our blood sugar can be, right? So, Omar, where can people continue this conversation with you and learn more about the work that you do?
Oh, sure. Definitely. I appreciate you having me on the show. This has been really fun. I can't believe how quickly time went by. It's like 1, 2, 3.
You're in the flow, talking about what you love. Yeah.
Yeah, likewise. Yes. I'm on omarcumberbatch.com. That's my website, where you can see my podcast, and my social media handles are there as well. So please, anybody has any issues with sugar, or just even kind of doing the health coach journey, like we have the podcast like that you were excellent on, the Health Coach Academy, and we're about to release that any day now. It just gives us health coaches tips on how to get our business up and running and thriving and sustaining, which is a big word today, because we want to be doing the work that we love and doing it with passion and make some money off of it as well.
Yeah, we are about that. Do what you love and enjoy your life. So thank you so much for all of your wisdom. We'll make sure that folks can check out omarcumberbatch.com. And I'll be back next week with more inspiration and strategy on how you can make your whole dream life your real life.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And don't forget to hop on over to dreamlifeisreallife.com/show for specific goodies that we talked about today, and access to continue the conversation with these guests as well as myself. I cannot wait to see what you create. Until next time.